Welcome back, everybody. Today we're testing the new Storm Phaze 4. If you like what we do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. First impression, Phase Ball with R2S stateside finally. This is probably what many wish the original was. Time to see if it differentiates itself from the other stuff in the catalog. Okay, let's go. I take the Phase 4 out of the box and I think I have this ball already, don't I? This question actually takes multiple shapes here. Firstly, I realized it's the identical port to the International Dual Lock, which I tested last year. Secondly, how will it distinguish itself from the Phase 3 or the Spectre we just tested? So the normal battery of tests takes place, and the video is almost self-explanatory that despite me normally hating 1500 grit polish factory finish, I pretty much struck on every ball. No edits here. There's a couple of really crappy balls that are due to the bowler. But anyway, the formula is relatively simple. The venerable R2S Pearl cover surrounding the big velocity core. You might think that that could turn into a huge skid flip, but not exactly. I mean, yes, it's long. Yes, it turns over down lane. However, somehow that tumbliness, if you will, of the core helps smooth out the transition that could otherwise appear very snappy. It is still very strong down lane, but I never felt over-under type weirdness. The thing I will say is almost exclusively anytime R2S Pearl is on any core, for me, that ball's instantly down in the mid-late category. Yes, there are variations, of course, between the balls, depending on the core, but it doesn't matter. From the High Road Pearl to the Astrophysics to the Phase 4. Yes, they're all different in some way, but the length and limited cover bite in oil means it's well down the arsenal for me, meaning pretty much mid-late. And that's actually not a bad thing, as for a bowler with my medium rev rate, having a longish cover surrounding a big core means I could take advantage of the big core hit down towards the lower end of my arsenal. And throughout the video, I gradually moved one board at a time in, and I had hit just about everywhere. I mean, the ball was continuous and heavy rolling through the pins. Of course, yeah, I mean, as I get deep into, two-hand territory in terms of where I am on a lane, my medium rev rate means the ball no longer has the drive. But honestly, it's a huge amount of room. The Phase 4 just worked extremely well for me. I'm going to do a more complete comparison to the Spectre, but here's just a shot or two, and you can clearly see the Spectre, that smoother, broomier shape. It has a more rounded big move, whereas you can see the Phase 4 is a little later, maybe a little snappier. Alright, on to my two-handed game, and if you've watched my videos, you'll note my style is rev dominant. I say it all the time. Means my rev rate is higher than my speed. So naturally, the ball will have a lot of movement. I'm still learning to control axis rotation more with two hands. Ultimately, most two-handers have to get quite deep in general. So where I am on the lane isn't too surprising. What was surprising was that I actually started a little too deep. And once I moved 4 or 5 boards with my feet left, there was high flush shots again. So rather than being right of the 4th arrow, I was now a touch left of it. It really wasn't too difficult to test this ball, two-handed at all. It was very long initially when I was a bit deeper, and then that was clear. I was a little concerned to move left, as I usually just get that sort of over part of the reaction, but nope, not at all here. Alright, let's wrap up. The Storm Phaze 4 is a real deal good ball. I'm resigned to any ball with R2S cover being down the arsenal for me, but with the big core, I think this ball really worked fantastic on the house shot for me. None of the over-under I typically see that can plague me with a weaker core cover combination. And if I go back to scores, this felt like an A on a house shot. For value, I'm torn a bit, maybe a B. Reason 1, it's expensive to be that far down the arsenal. Reason 2, it does compete with the Spectre a bit, and maybe several other balls down in that part of my bag. Yes, they're different, but the question is, are they different enough? Stay tuned for the comparisons.